We're started? Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Well, in our opinion, of course, Bob.
And we're being very rude. We didn't introduce Napoleon.
Yes.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Right.
Today,
Hi,
we're,
people.
today we're going to talk about why do your hands go numb or arms go numb when you're sleeping sometimes at night. Because we're going to show you why it happens and how to stop it.
Right.
So the first thing is you have to understand is generally it's pressure on a nerve.
Sure.
It's pressure on a nerve. That's the simplified explanation. There's
Right.
actually issues about blood flow to the nerve and stuff, but we won't get into that.
Right.
But you have nerves that come all the way from your neck, and we use this red tubing here to kind of demonstrate just one of the nerve, strings that may be going down.
Right.
But the nerves come from the neck, they go under the collarbone, and then they go into the arm and down into the hand. And they send signals up to your brain, and they give you a sensation of, feeling and all that.
Make you move.
So that's why you get numbness and tingling when they're kind of cut off.
Right. So, in other words, if we pinch this nerve for a while, eventually everything below here is going to start to feel numb and tingly
Right.
and all those symptoms.
So one of the areas that you can get a pinched nerve is up in the neck itself, which this is a spine right here. Lonnie, can you see that? I don't know if you can see these little yellow nerves coming out. There's little holes there. Lonnie's trying to focus. He's going to show me. Yeah, right there. You got a pen, Brad?
Yep. So they're cut off here in your body. They extend and go down into your neck and in your arm. But that's what we're talking about. The little holes are called foramen.
And they can get smaller sometimes with calcium buildup,
Right.
or a disc problem could cause that hole to be smaller. So let's get rid of this. All right, so the other place that's really common is under the collarbone, and that's especially if you have your arms up like this, Brad.
Right.
That can compromise that area, and that can cause my hands go numb when I go up this way if I sleep this way.
Right.
Real quickly, one time they both fell asleep and the alarm went off. I'm going like this to try to get the alarm to stop. I have no movement.
Yeah.
All right, the other one, there's actually a case where we call Honeymooned Palsy, where you're laying down and your spouse falls asleep on your arm, and maybe you guys have had some cocktails so you don't really wake up because. And anyway,
He's talking from experience,
Yeah.
I think.
the pressure on the arm actually causes the rest of the arm to go numb.
Right.
And there's also the other one called, what is it called? Saturday Night Palsy.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Palsy. Brad's going to demonstrate that one.
This is not Saturday Night Fever, but this is kind of related, though.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, this happened to me once when I was younger. I had too much to drink, and maybe I decided to fall asleep in your chair, in your arm right
Armrest.
there,
Yeah.
and you're like that. And you've been there for a while, and then you wake up, and you realize you don't have an arm, and you don't feel your arm because it's all numb.
Yeah. You were getting pressure right here on the outside of I'm on a different muscle now. Humerus on the radial nerve of
Yeah,
the
anyways, the
humerus.
pressure is causing problems, cutting off that nerve, impinging on it,
Yeah,
so.
so, all right. The other place where it's very common to get impingement is, of course, which a lot of people know, is the carpal tunnel, which is right down here by the wrist. And there's a band that goes across. It goes across the nerve and can give you pressure, especially if you, as we're going to talk about, if you sleep like this.
Right.
So let's go ahead and show the positions
Sure.
that you want to kind of avoid. So in either case, you want to avoid sleeping with your arms above your head this way, or if you're on your stomach, you don't want to sleep with your arms like this.
I've done this and waking up. I didn't do the thing like you did, but I've actually bit my arm because I couldn't feel it. I
Yeah.
couldn't move it.
Exactly.
It's kind of fun, actually.
If you sleep on your side and you even put your arm up like this, it could give you trouble. You want to keep it down here.
Right.
The other thing is you don't want to sleep with your wrist bent like this,
Right.
like some people like to do.
Right.
So what is the problem with this, Brad? It really isn't, unless you, like if you do the Saturday Night Palsy, and if you were there for a long time, you actually could damage the covering of the nerve, and that tends to recover. It might take 2 to 4 weeks or something like that.
Right.
But if you actually get into damaging the nerve itself, it could take months and even a year, and it may not ever recover.
Right.
So that is
Yeah.
a little more serious.
Yeah. So don't drink so much either. That'll take care of that.
That's right. That's probably a good piece of advice to follow. So, all right, Brad, anything else?
No, I think these are good, you know, people are asking, why do my arms fall asleep? And it's very simple,
Good
I just have to
explanation, yeah.
understand it. So we should thank Napoleon, can you zoom over
Yeah,
there?
thank Napoleon.
Yeah,
and,
go on, get over, yep, zoom right over.
remember,
there.
we're not just pretty, Brad.
Yeah, we're pretty ugly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we're pretty handy sometimes.
look at that.
Or helpful.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye.